Hi, and welcome back to Tennis Predictions and Stats with Vine Charities. Today, we're going to be doing the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships preview. It's a WTA 1000 event in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. So up at the top quarter, it's a 64-player tournament, so this will be a longer video. But anyway, up in the top spot, we have Sabrina, Sakari, and Grand Slam and Ostapenko. The first match is Wang Qiang from China versus Kuznetsova versus Russia. I went Kuznetsova just because I think Wang's not gonna perform as well as she can. Next, we have Patricia Maria Tig versus Helena Ostapenko. I went Ostapenko because Ostapenko is more of a competitor. She just beat Burtons last week in Doha, and I haven't really heard much of Tig recently. So yeah. Next one, we have Barbara Krachikova versus Maria Sakari. For me, easily Sakari. Sakari is just one of my favorite players. She's pretty good to watch, pretty awesome, and I think she's really good. Sabrina Kuznetsova, Sabrina in straight sets, pretty easy match for Sabrina. Ostapenko Sakari, this is gonna be I think will be a 3-set match if this happens, because Ostapenko is a very big, strong competitor. So it's gonna be harder to beat her. So, but I think Sakari will prevail. Okay. In the next one, we have Bensy and Keys as the 2-seeded players. Keys will be playing a qualifier in the first round. Keys should have no problem winning there. Siegeman versus the Wildcard Portapova. Potapova is a pretty good player. She's young and upstart. I feel like eventually she can get top 50. But at least right now, I'm going to go Siegeman. Pablanchenkova versus Kodamatova. I think Kodamatova is going to win just because Pavlanchenkova is pretty, not the most consistent person in, winning matches and stuff. So I think Kodamatova will beat her. Keys versus Siegeman. To be honest with you, this is gonna be a tough one. This was a tough one for me, but I did think Siegeman was gonna be the better player on that day, and I just think Keys wouldn't be able to keep up. So I think Siegeman would win in straight sets. Kodamatova versus Bensy straight sets. Nothing too hard for her. The next quarter we have Kavita and Rybakina. So Kvitova's on a bye, and she'll play the winner of Badosa versus Teichmann. I went Teichmann because Teichmann's kind of up and coming a little bit, but under the radar is at the same time. So I think Teichmann win in 2 close sets. Jabeur Siniakova. Siniakova is a very good player, and I think she's one of the best of her ranking. If that makes any sense, but I feel like she's ranked too low for how good she is, in my opinion. But anyway, I think Jabeur will win just because Jabeur is someone who I find very intriguing to watch, and I think she's top talent on hard court. So, yeah. So I think she'll win. I think Jabeur will beat Siniakova, and Zhang Saisai versus Rybakina. Rybakina easily straight sets. Kvitova Teichmann, Kvitova straight sets. She just won that title in Doha. Yes, Doha. She against Muguruza. So she's on a bit of a winning streak. And Jabeur Rybakina, this was a very tough match here because Rybakina is always hard to beat, but Jabeur is gonna probably beat her, and I think in 3 sets. Come back from a set down, in my opinion. Okay, we got in this next quarter we have Vondrousova, and Burtons and Goff. So Vondrousova, it will be playing a qualifier. I think just like Keys, Vondrousova should have no problem winning there. Goff versus Alexandrova. I think Goff will win as well. Number one, why I think this is because Goff, she's pretty consistent on hard, and she's always very difficult to beat. And also, Alexandrova just lost to Clara Tauson, first round of Lyon. So I think that's just, it's going to be, I think a loser streak will start to develop, in my opinion, for Alexandrova. So I think Goff will win. The next match, we have Christina Plishkava versus a qualifier. I think the qualifier will win because Christina Plishkava is not someone who I would bet on just because she's kind of like she doesn't really win matches, but like she wins enough matches where she's able to make it to these tournaments. So I would go with the qualifier in straight sets. Vondrousova versus Goff. I think Goff will win their straight sets. Vondrousova, just like with Keys, where just with Keys where Siegeman beats her second round. I think Goff will win as well, just because Goff's really good, and I think Vondrousova's a bit semi like 50-50. And then Burns versus the qualifier. Burns easily straight sets. And then, yeah. This next quarter, we have Swiatek, Muguruza, and a lot of qualifiers. But qualifier versus Hercog, this was a bit of a tough one for me, but I did go Hercog in straights just because I think Hercog will just play pretty well that day and on the given day. So, yeah, Anna Samova, I haven't seen much of her this year. She tested positive, so she couldn't play Australian Open. But I think she'll win this first round against the qualifier. Save for Muguruza. Both of them will win straight sets. Swiatek, Hercog. Swiatek easily straight sets. Same for Muguruza. This is a pretty like a pretty easy not very close match, I should say, except for really Anisimova versus Muguruza. Kontaveit versus Cirstea. I'm not Kontaveit versus Cirstea. I'm sorry. Kontaveit versus Babos. Kontaveit pretty easily. Kontaveit's a strong competitor, tough spirit to break. Cirstea versus qualifier. I think it could be a three-set match, but I think Cirstea will come out on top. Cornet Katsukina, this is going to be a very interesting one to watch because both of these players have a lot of experience, even though Katsukina used to be very high. She was at one point top 10, I'm pretty sure. And Cornet is kind of like a bit of an upset maker, and even though she did lose first round in Lyon, she made to the, I think, quarterfinals or round 16 in the U.S. Open. So yeah, Kontaveit versus Cirstea. Kontaveit should have no problem winning there again. Cornet Sabalenka. This is gonna be a bit of a test for Sabalenka, but I think it'll be two closer sets, and Sabalenka will win. And coming down to the bottom quarter, we have Azarenka and Mertens and Garcia and Kerber and Rogers. Pretty much everybody in this next one is good. Who's had experience at being really making it far in tournaments or etc. Kerber, Garcia, one of the best matches in this tournament. Garcia, world number 4. Kerber, previous world number 1, multiple-time Grand Slam winner. But Kerber's been on a bit of a decline. She got I don't want to say destroyed, but that's kind of what happened against Pera in the Australian Open. It was kind of like a rout. Kerber never really had much of a chance. So for that reason, I think Garcia will end up winning. Rogers versus a qualifier, I feel bad for that qualifier because I feel because Rogers will most likely destroy them. Unless it's someone who's a top qualifier. But anyway, and Mertens is always hard to play, but Mertens, I think, will come out on top there. 3 sets, close sets here. Azarenka Garcia, this is one of the toughest matches as well. Garcia is always good, so Azarenka as well, but I think Azarenka will win in 2 very close sets. Rogers Mertens, I think Rogers will win in 3, but lose the first set. Marche versus Milanovich. I think Marche is not one of my favorite players to begin with. The fact that she's playing Kiki Milanovich that doesn't really mix well for me. So for that, I'm going to go Milanovich. Yaroslava Shvedova, excuse me if I didn't get their name right, versus Jessica Pugola. Pugola just had that amazing run, I'm pretty sure, to the semifinals of the Australian Open. So that was a very good run for her. So easily Pugola. Sevastova versus Pera. Even though Pera did just take out Kerber in Australian Open, I'm going to go Sevastova here in straight sets. Milanovich versus Pugola. Again, going back to Pugola's semifinal run, I think this is going to be a straight set match for Pugola. And considering also Pugola just made it to the semifinals, correct me if I'm wrong, but semifinals in Doha. So yeah, and then Sevastova versus Plishkava. Plishkava easily straight sets there. Okay, now we are on to the round of 16 here. Svitolina versus Sakari. I think Svitolina will win 2 close sets, like maybe a tiebreak there will be thrown in there. Siegeman versus Bensi. Bensi, I think, should win straight sets, even though Siegeman will have been like a bit of a roll. So Bensi should put a stop to it ish. 2 to 3 set. I think could be 3 sets. Kavita Jabeur, very, very tough match here. But I'm going to go Kvitova in straight just because Kvitova is kind of personally on a bit more momentum, and she's just been playing a lot better right now in Jabeur. And Jabeur's been playing well, so it's kind of like Kvitova's one of the best players right now, at least in my opinion. Goff versus Burns. Burns is returning from an injury. She got destroyed by Ostapenko in Doha. So I'm going to go Goff, actually, to go to the quarterfinals. Swiatek Muguruza. If this is probably by far the hardest match that's possible in this tournament. These are two of my favorite players on the tour right now, and I'm gonna go Muguruza, but this could go either way. So even though I went Muguruza, I could be completely wrong, or I could be right. So yeah, Muguruza in 3 tight sets. Kontaveit versus Sabalenka straights. Azarenka versus Rogers, close one. Azarenka in 2 straight close ones. Pugola Plishkava in 3 looser sets. Okay, on to the quarterfinals. Svitolina Bensi. Svitolina, I think, should win it in straights. I think Svitolina will win it in straights. Kavita versus Goff. Goff's role will finally come to an end, and she will face Kvitova, and she will lose to Kvitova, I should say, in the quarterfinals here in 3 loose sets. Muguruza versus Sabalenka, really very close match, could go either way, but like I said with Swiatek Muguruza, it's gonna be I could be completely wrong here, I could be completely right, but I'm gonna go Sabalenka here on a 3 very tight sets. Azarenka Plishkava, I'm gonna go Azarenka. Plishkava, sometimes it cannot be, if she gets too down on herself, she'll never dig herself out of that hole. I think Azarenka is going to put her in a hole to begin the match, and Plishkova is never going to really crawl out of it. In the semifinals, you have Svitolina, Kvitova, Sabalenka, and Azarenka. I'm going to go Svitolina over Kvitova in two close sets, just because Svitolina lost early enough, midway through the tournament of Doha. So I think Kvitova is going to fatigue out and not win this match. Sabalenka versus Azarenka. Sabalenka versus Azarenka. The top 2 Belarusians in the whole world right now. If this is one of the best matches also, but I think Sabalenka is just gonna hit her on the court a little too well, and Azarenka is not gonna be able to compete. So I'm gonna go 3 loose sets. In the finals, we're gonna have Svitolina versus Sabalenka. The 1 versus the 3 seed. This is going to be a very tight match, I feel like. But I'm going to go Sabalenka in 2 straight sets. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to my channel if you want more of this.